Stay informed about the latest developments in cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond with NewsSource Scrawlers edition covering the period from August 18, 2025, to August 25, 2025. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have advised their employees to quickly return to the United States following the imposition of a $100,000 fee on H-1B visas by the Trump administration. This move has prompted both major tech firms and foreign governments to take action. India has expressed concerns that the increase in the H-1B visa fee could lead to disruptions in families. Previously, Trump had introduced a $100,000 fee for applicants seeking skilled worker visas. In another development, China has prohibited tech companies from purchasing NVIDIA's AI chips, citing a violation of anti-monopoly laws after an initial investigation. Bloomberg has reported that the cost of obtaining an MBA has risen, yet the return on investment has decreased.
BOJ announces ETF sales strategy, leaves possibility open for October rate increase. International investment funds significantly reduced their investments in Chinese bonds, reaching the lowest point observed since the year 2021. According to an official, India intends to sell minority stakes in approximately 6 state-owned enterprises.
Middle East Eye reports that Egypt's proposal for an Arab defense force similar to NATO was rejected at the Doha summit. Saudi Arabia has signed a mutual defense agreement with nuclear-armed Pakistan following Israel's attack on Qatar. The UK, Canada, and Australia have announced their formal recognition of Palestine, with a wave of Israel's allies expected to follow. Meanwhile, the EU has unveiled a plan to impose tariffs and sanctions on Israel in response to the outcry over the Gaza war.
Reuters reports that South Korea's President Lee has expressed concerns that the demands for U.S. investment could lead to a financial crisis, as he prepares to confront the potential financial crisis posed by these U.S. investment demands. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un has indicated his willingness to engage in nuclear discussions with the U.S., mentioning his fond memories of a previous meeting with Trump. The EU has announced a new set of sanctions targeting Russian LNG, banks, cryptocurrency, and the shadow fleet.
Research conducted in the UK indicates that AI-generated summaries may minimize the significance of medical conditions experienced by female patients. OpenAI reports that women constitute over 50% of the users of ChatGPT. OpenAI acknowledges that its models are designed to fabricate information rather than confessing a lack of knowledge.
Trump warns of negative consequences if Afghanistan fails to return the Bagram Air Base, but the Taliban dismissed Trump's attempt to reclaim it. The Washington Post suggests that a U.S. return to Bagram is not a bad idea. Meanwhile, a Syrian president visits the U.S. for the UN General Assembly for the first time in almost 60 years. An online survey reveals that very few Japanese people desire a U.S. base in their vicinity.
Corals are unable to endure a warmer Earth, according to a recent study. Research suggests that enhancing marine clouds could mitigate El Niño, and 6 years ago, the BBC discussed how artificially brightened clouds might halt climate change. Rising ocean temperatures pose a risk to microorganisms responsible for producing almost a third of the planet's oxygen. 6 days prior, the Wrap reported that TikTok is in the final stages of negotiations to be acquired by Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz. According to Trump, Fox News' Rupert Murdoch and tech CEO Michael Dell might be involved in the TikTok deal. SCMP indicates that ByteDance intends to move forward with the TikTok deal while adhering to Chinese regulations, and TikTok deal gives Americans 6 of 7 board seats, Levitt says. In the United States, House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman James Comer, R. Kentucky, has called for the chief executive officers of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to appear at a full committee hearing scheduled for October 8, 2025. This hearing will focus on the radicalization of users on online forums, including cases of open incitement to politically motivated actions. Amazon and Google are under investigation by the FTC regarding their search advertising practices.
The United Nations Security Council is scheduled to convene an emergency session to address the recent incursions by Russian jets into Estonian airspace. 3 days prior, Estonia requested consultations with NATO following the alleged violation of its airspace by Russian jets, a claim that Russia has refuted on Friday, the 19th of September. Meanwhile, Serbia has showcased Chinese missiles during a military parade, occurring amidst heightened tensions in Europe. Russia's enigmatic Doomsday Radio has resumed transmissions, broadcasting a series of Russian names, numbers, and cryptic messages.
The postponement of the Porsche electric vehicle launch results in a $6 billion financial impact on its parent company, Volkswagen. BMW warns that the European ban on gasoline engines could potentially devastate the industry. And EU court decision permits Europe to classify nuclear and natural gas as sustainable investments for its green transition.
NASA announces Mars rover found possible biosignature in the previous year. Increasing heat waves linked to the production of fossil fuels and cement. Ex-Meta workers claim they witnessed child abuse in virtual reality before the company halted the investigation.
SCMP notes that illicit funds from countries like Malaysia and Bangladesh are being invested in UK real estate. HSBC has launched its inaugural wealth management center in Dubai to capitalize on the flourishing investment opportunities in the UAE. The Guardian discloses that there has been a significant expansion of scam centers in Myanmar, which could potentially be holding up to 100,000 trafficked individuals. China intends to construct a naval Great Wall to defend against attacks involving swarms of thousands of drones. Following a ProPublica investigation, the Pentagon has prohibited technology vendors from employing personnel based in China. Heathrow and several major European airports are experiencing a 4th consecutive day of disruption due to a cyber attack. Encyclopaedia Britannica and Merriam-Webster have filed a lawsuit against Perplexity, accusing it of plagiarizing their definitions. Albania has appointed an AI bot as a minister to address issues of corruption. According to Gartner, by the year 2030, all information technology tasks will incorporate AI, yet employment opportunities will remain secure.
Reuters has removed a video about the longevity of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, after China's state television revoked the legal authorization to use it. Laboratory tests indicate that Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was poisoned, according to his wife. The South China Morning Post reports that Donald Trump's visit to China might depend on agreements involving Boeing and soybeans, as suggested by sources. A laboratory in the UAE has unveiled an open-source model designed to compete with China's DeepSeek. DeepSeek claims that its successful AI model was developed at a cost of only $294,000. Meanwhile, OpenAI has announced that its business operations are projected to incur a loss of $115 billion by the year 2029.
Toxic forever chemicals have been detected in 95% of the beers that were tested across the United States. Wildfire smoke has the potential to result in the deaths of 70,000 Americans annually by the year 2050. In the U.S., the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has issued a fresh warning regarding the risks associated with flying while carrying lithium batteries, following numerous incidents that occurred in August. Reuters reports that the United States has issued a warning about the potential presence of concealed radios within solar-powered highway infrastructure. It has been reported that the U.S. has become the largest investor in commercial spyware. Internal documents reveal that Silicon Valley has facilitated severe mass detention and surveillance practices in China.
The Trump administration is reportedly considering a connection between autism and the use of Tylenol during pregnancy. A panel supported by RFK Jr. has recommended against administering the MMRV combination vaccine to young children. In the U.S., the FDA has initiated a crackdown on misleading drug advertisements.
Tipsy bats in perfect pasta secure Ig Nobel Prizes for unusual scientific research. A festival study reveals that individuals who consume beer tend to attract mosquitoes more. The U.S. Department of Education has imposed increased financial oversight on Harvard University due to worries about its financial accountability.
Amnesty International reports that Pakistan is conducting surveillance on millions of individuals by tapping phones and using firewalls. A Taliban leader has prohibited the use of Wi-Fi in an Afghan province to curb what is described as immorality. According to a report, the FBI plans to classify transgender individuals as a nihilistic violent extremist threat group.
AI's positive impact on the economy is not reflected in GDP figures, with Goldman Sachs identifying this as an $115 billion oversight. Gallup reports that only 35% of people in the U.S. are satisfied with the quality of K-12 education, marking a record low. The Economist suggests that China's future is dependent on 200 million unstable workers. Microsoft successfully navigates an EU competition investigation by agreeing to separate teams. A judge determines that Amazon breached online shopper protection laws prior to the Prime sign-up trial. Eric Trump claims that cryptocurrency has the potential to rescue the US dollar.
Donald Trump's lawsuit against the New York Times was thrown out due to its excessive length. Trump claims the U.S. has targeted another drug vessel, prompting Venezuela to criticize it as an undeclared war. The U.S. Department of Justice has taken down a study that revealed far-right extremists are responsible for significantly more violence, quietly erasing the research on the political motivations of domestic terrorists.
The Trump administration has stopped the release of a government report on hunger. In the Philippines, thousands of people have gathered to protest against corruption. Meanwhile, in the U.S. Congress, the Judiciary Panel has turned down the Democrats' attempt to issue subpoenas to banks involved in the Epstein case. The New Yorker suggests that Britain is positioning Nigel Farage as its potential future prime minister, while Trump advises Britain to deploy the military to manage its borders. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, allegedly received $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents. Trump introduces a $1 million gold card, offering a quick visa process for affluent foreigners.
During a memorial service, Trump referred to Charlie Kirk as a martyr, while Kirk's wife extended forgiveness to the shooter. Jimmy Kimmel Live was indefinitely suspended following a joke about Charlie Kirk's killer, after a threat from the FCC. Trump announced his intention to classify the anti-fascist Antifa movement as a terrorist organization.